I have no objection.
All right. Without objection, N and O are admitted. Defendant's exhibits N and O admitted.
And because of those admissions, Judge, I believe, and it has the date on there of the, I would move to admit Exhibit L, representing that the center is the same painting that Brad Holder foundationally admitted to his, being his painting on the exhibits I just entered. Defendant's Exhibit L offered.
Mr. Luttrell.
Was the photo on the right identified by Mr. Baldwin?
Just the mid. I'm talking about the middle one. The right that is just, I would say it represents. The right on that exhibit is a tarot card that we found on the internet that I'll be talking about.
Not identified, nor a connection to Brad Holder.
No.
And you're not representing that?
Not. Thank you for making sure that that's clear.
With that qualification, I have no objection to L.
All right. With that qualification, L is admitted. Defendant's Exhibit L admitted.
Thank you. I'm going to admit a number of other documents, inaudible. Judge, I'm going to offer at this time exhibit. I can't tell if that's a Q or an O. Court reporter Q. Q, and I'm going to represent that is the tree. I'm sorry, so I can tell you which is which. On the right is the tree from the crime scene with blood from. LG's blood was on the tree, and that's what's in red. On the other side is a stick formation that was found on Brad Holder's Facebook page in the form of sticks that looks like an F. Defendant's Exhibit Q offered.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Without objection, Q is admitted. Defendant's Exhibit Q admitted.
Gonna hand you Exhibit R. I represent to the court that this is a screenshot off, or two screenshots off of the video from a march that was provided to the defense of a paganist ritual ceremony that occurred in Fort Wayne, actually, in 2016, and that person represented there is Patrick Westfall touching the tree. Foundationally, that is on Brad Holder. Brad Holder was shown that video, and he was shown that part in the video where Patrick Westfall is touching the tree on page 79 of his deposition, and on page 82 of his deposition. It starts on page 78, for the record, and it ends on page 82. Brad Holder does indicate that the person touching the tree is.
I have no objection.
All right. Without objection, R is admitted. Defendant's Exhibit R admitted.
Your Honor, I'd like to clarify, I must have missed P as in Paul. Court reporter, it's marked, but not offered.
It's marked, but not offered.
Okay.
Which one was that?
P.
Oh, P. Yeah, I was reading that out of order. I will now offer P and represent that is a Facebook post that Brad Holder posted on his Facebook page after the murder of the girls where he is talking about. It's a meme, a Goodfellas meme, where he's talking about. I mean, you can read it yourself, but essentially, you don't. Your good friends help you to hide, move the body. Defendant's Exhibit P offered.
Any objection?
I have no objection. I would ask was that referenced at the Brad Holder depot, Mr. Baldwin?
Yes. Judge, we're looking for Brad Holder's.
He didn't object, but he wanted to know where in the depot it was mentioned.
And we can move on. I have no objection to it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You can let me know the page.
Inaudible.
Thank you. Defendant's Exhibit P admitted.
Before I put on my next witness, I wanted to do this before I forget. Ask the court to take judicial notice, for purposes of this hearing, of Franks 1 through 4. The dates of filing are, just for, okay, Franks 1's filed September 18th th, 2023, Franks 3, filed March 13th, 2024, and Franks 4, filed April the 24th th, or the 29th I think of 2024. They did. My interns weren't able to find Franks number 2, but I believe it was filed October of 2023. I just don't have the exact date, I apologize. But I'd ask you to take judicial notice of those motions, and the exhibits contained in all of those motions.
The court will take judicial notice of the Franks motions that were filed, 1 through 4, and note that the Franks 1 and 2 were.
Call Kevin Murphy to the stand.
Witness sworn.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
State your name for the record.
Kevin Murphy.
Kevin, what do you do for a living?
I'm a police officer in Beverly Shores, Indiana.
How long have you been at Beverly Shores?
2 years.
What did you do prior to that?
I worked briefly in court security in Porter County, Indiana, which is our courthouse. I substitute taught auto shop. I worked briefly at Valparaiso University.
What about before that?
I was with Indiana State Police from June of 1995 to July of 2021.
How many years is that?
26 and some change.
And how did you leave the State Police? Did you retire? Were you fired? That's what I'm getting at.
I retired.
Okay. And in your 27 years, did you ever have any write-ups or anything, and problems or?
Like a 553A allegation of misconduct?
Sure.
No.
Okay. Did you ever work in any capacity on the Delphi murders, investigating the Delphi murders?
Yes.
Tell the judge about that, how you got involved and what you did.
Around February 13th of 2017, I was made aware that 2 girls had gone missing. I offered, with other members of my task force, to be available if needed, and we got the call on Sunday night, which'd been the 19th, because we were here on Tuesday the 21st of 2017.
And what happened when you started getting involved in the investigation?
We met at the town hall, where, that was the command center at that point, and I met Kevin Hammond and Sheriff Liggett and we started grabbing tips and just started hammering them out.
Okay. And that was in, really early on, February of 2017. When did your time working on the case end?
October 1st, 2019.
So from 2017 to 2019, were you working on anything else or was it pretty much just Delphi?
I was on a task force at the FBI Merrillville. Sometimes we had terrorism details to go out on, but if we didn't have something on the burner, then I was here.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the name Brad Holder?
Yes.
Who is he?
Brad Holder is a subject of interest in this case, was a subject of interest from very early on.
Okay. And would you call him was he a suspect in this case?
He was not considered a suspect in some circles. In the circle that I was a part of, with the investigation we led, the answer to that is yes.
Okay. And why was he a suspect in the circles? Well, strike that. Let's define some of our terms here. Who are the circles that you're talking about?
Specifically Greg Ferenczi, Terre Haute PD, he's now deceased, Todd Click, the Assistant Chief of Rushville Police, and myself.
And when you were investigating the Delphi murders, who are you reporting to?
We had a chain of command, of course, and I always reported to Jay Harper, a detective out of the Lafayette Post.
And would the same be said, if you know, for Greg Ferenczi? Would he follow the chain of command and go up to Dave Harper, or someone else in Unified Command?
Greg Ferenczi would go through me and then I would forward it to Jay Harper.
Okay. So you were familiar with what Greg Ferenczi was doing, as well?
Yes.
Okay. And what was he doing?
He was doing most of the social media work, making a connection between.
Okay. So when you say social, some of the social media, are you talking about Greg Ferenczi was looking at? Whose social media was he looking at, if you know?
There were multiple people involved. Brad Holder, one who we've mentioned, Patrick Westfall, Elvis Fields, Johnny Messer, Ned Smith, Rod Abrams.
And can you just, and we're giving a little bit, well, strike that. I need to remember why I'm here today. Let me pause for a second, 'cause I'm getting in. Why did you think that Brad Holder was a suspect?
Based on notes and discussions and hours of investigations with Greg Ferenczi initially, and then the multitude of trips we made to Rushville, where we had initially, just the services of Todd Click, and then he joined in the investigation. We just thought it was an undeniable link between the two communities with the activities that all of them that I've stated were involved in.
Okay. I'm handing you what has been marked as Defendant's Exhibit S. Can you identify that for me and tell me what that is?
This is a multitude of field notes that are a printed out Word document that I saw at my deposition, but I've never seen it prior to that deposition in printed form, because every supplement I did involving this case was field notes at the interview in this notebook, and then that was followed up by a Word document on my issued State Police laptop, and then that Word document helped create my report, my leads, my tips, the supplement to the case, and notes like this were always attached in a Word document to those said cases or those said leads.
And you have seen that document before at your deposition, correct?
The one and only time, yes.
Okay. And you, are those your words? Are those your notes?
Yes and yes.
And just give the judge a little flavor of how you would get from the investigative portion, where you're interviewing somebody, to those notes. How did that all happen? It's kind of a bad question, but
I can answer you.
Okay. What is your memory of any linkage between, well, strike that. The very. Well, I'd move to admit exhibit. What's the sticker number?
S.
S, as in Sam. Defendant's Exhibit S offered.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Without objection, S is admitted. Defendant's Exhibit S admitted.
The second entry there, can you read that? The second entry, can you read that out loud for me, please?
February 2018, sir?
Yes.
Troopers Holman and Murphy interview Elvis Fields at Rushville PD. Elvis denied being part of any murders in Delphi. Elvis consents to DNA swab, buccal swab, taken by Murphy. Elvis ends interview, stating he is tired and wants to go home. Murphy drops off Elvis at his residence in Trailer Park. Elvis exits car and starts walking toward his trailer. Elvis then turns around and comes back to Murphy's car. Elvis asks Murphy that if his spit is found on one of the girls, but he could explain it away, would he still be in trouble?
Okay. Thank you. You heard those words from Elvis Fields?
Word for word.
And what did you do after you heard those words?
Number 1, I documented it, and number 2, I got a hold of Jay Harper at Unified Command and told him what I'd just been told.
Had you explained, prior to dropping Elvis off and prior to him asking that question, what the purpose of the buccal swab was?
Yes. He was clear on what it was.
Was there any connection that you found or Ferenczi found between Elvis Fields and Brad Holder?
Yes.
What were those connections?
Through the Rushville/Delphi connection through the Facebook, and as I recall sitting here, Elvis liked to follow others and he had this knack of wanting to follow Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall, and he would often, from Greg Ferenczi's explanation, follow what they would do on Facebook.
Okay. And so when you say they followed each other, or who followed who, to your knowledge?
Elvis followed Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall.
Was there any explanation as to why, that you found out, a guy in Delphi, Indiana, Brad Holder, whose son dated AW, knew about a guy named Elvis Fields 125 miles away or whatever it is between Rushville and Delphi?
So what are you asking me?
Did you ever figure out how that connection might have formed? Was that part of your investigation?
Yes.
And what did you learn?
Through the rituals that they would conduct and through wanting to be a part of what they conduct, and Elvis's connection to all of that was through Johnny Messer.
Now, that document that I just handed you, when was actually the first time that you saw that?
It was on August 10th, the date of my deposition.
Who had that document the first time that you saw that?
Lieutenant Holman.
Okay. Let's talk about that day. This is August the 10th, you said?
Yes.
Of last year?
Yes.
We had subpoenaed you to come into, right next to the back wall there's a jury room. We asked you to come in for a deposition, correct?
You did.
Can you tell? I heard a commotion out in the hallway. Can you tell the judge what happened out in the hallway?
Lieutenant Holman had been in a lengthy deposition, as you're well aware, because you took said deposition. I had not seen Lieutenant Holman in almost 4 years. I thought when he came out it'd just be a big embrace, a hug, but he was frustrated, I was frustrated. And he had this document and I didn't know what it is.
Okay. Then what happened?
I went to embrace him and he said, "What the EFF is this?" And I said, "Jerry, I don't know, Jerry." And then I started looking through it and I went, "Those are field notes that I did that were attached to supplements electronically from the Delphi case." And I had not seen them ever, other than when I sent this document into my Word document to save. And he said, "Well, how the EFF did they get them?" And didn't know if they is the state, if it was the defense, if it was the prosecution. I didn't know where it came from.
So it was first, "What the EFF is this?" And then, "How the EFF did they get it?" Is that right?
Well, yes, but you're talking about 2 football coaches just in the heat of the moment being upset with, a little bit, so yeah.
It was pretty heated in that hallway?
Very briefly, but...
So it was a brief amount of heat for a brief.
Yes.
Judge, I'm gonna object at this point. We're here on a motion to dismiss Brad H. Holder, and they're alleging that the state intentionally destroyed Brad Holder's phone dump, an interview with Brad Holder, and images from Brad Holder's Facebook page. I've let Mr. Baldwin go very far afield here, but how is this relevant to what we're here to argue?
How's it relevant?
Because, in order to grant the motion to dismiss, Judge, you have to either find that evidence, in this case Brad Holder's phone dump, before it was the missing evidence, or the taped over of Brad Holder interview, was either exculpatory or potentially useful. If it's exculpatory, it's out. If it's not and it's potentially useful, I still have to prove intentional acts on, or bad faith, if you will, but intentional behavior on the part of law enforcement. And I think what we just heard was Jerry Holman asked, "How the EFF did they get this?" Which, Judge, could mean, how did they get this? They weren't supposed to get this. And that's why, because we have to prove intentionality, Judge, we have to prove that. I'm not expecting anybody to get up on the stand, Jerry Holman or anybody else, and say, "Yeah, we destroyed the Brad Holders."
May I respond, Judge?
Sure.
The first step is they've got to establish these things existed. The Brad Holder phone dump existed. The Logan interview, the Brad Holder interview at Logansport existed. They haven't even made it over that first hurdle yet. And I don't know how any of this is relevant to whether or not those things existed, and then show that the state somehow, or law enforcement intentionally erased those or covered those up or withheld those. I don't see how any of this is relevant to the motion to dismiss. It may be relevant to third-party motive later, but I don't see how it's relevant to the motion we're here to argue right now, Judge.
Is this going to get tied up at some point in time?
I'm done with him, actually.
That's not my question.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, on my final summation, I'll be tying everything together.
All right. I'll give you a little leeway, but we're getting really far afield.
Okay. And I'm going to be tying it up with my final summation, so...
Are you done? With your direct?
No other questions.
Mr. McClelland.
Thank you, Judge. Officer Murphy, good afternoon. Did you ever personally interview Brad Holder?
I've never met Brad Holder or spoke to Brad Holder.
And so safe to say you never asked Brad Holder for his phone to be able to dump his phone?
Never.
Okay. And did you ever examine Brad Holder's Facebook page?
No. I don't know how to do that kind of stuff.
Okay. And I don't want to get too far away from the motion, but some of the questions Mr. Baldwin asked you about you interviewed these various people. Were you ever able to, in your entire investigation, ever able to place Elvis Fields in Delphi at the time of the murders?
No, I could not.
What about Brad Holder?
In Delphi?
At the time of the murders?
No.
Did you ever gather any information through your investigation that there?
No.
Did you ever gather any evidence in your investigation that there was any evidence related to the murder on Brad Holder's Facebook page?
I never saw Brad Holder's Facebook page prior to my deposition.
And you had nothing to do with an interview of Brad Holder at Logansport Police Department?
I didn't know what happened.
Just a moment, Judge. I don't have any other questions, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Baldwin.
No other questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, officer. You may step down. Could we retrieve that exhibit, please? I'll take that.
Your Honor, I apologize.
No, that's all right. Thank you, sir.